Welcome back to the Anxious for Nothing podcast. I'm Cece, and today's episode feels like a deep breath and in just a calm way, though, just grounding. Okay, just in a grounding way. Because after last week's episode about joy being our birthright, I kept thinking about something. I kept thinking about how a lot of people are searching for peace externally. And naturally, it feels like it makes sense, through circumstances, through control, through finally getting all of the answers. But peace doesn't begin around you, like physically with what you can see, it begins within you. And that's where today's conversation is going, guys. I want to talk about the heart, not just emotionally, but spiritually too. I consider myself to be pretty spiritually in tune because here's the thing, your heart influences the way you experience life, whether you like it or not. So, your perspective, your reactions, your energy, your relationships, every single thing flows through it. And one verse that's been sitting with me lately, and actually was the verse of the day on my Bible app, was Matthew 5, verses 3. And I read the NIV version, but it says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And I don't really usually bring like scripture to my episodes. I haven't done that, I don't think, since the beginning, like season one. Hi, Ropeism. But I think honestly, it's time for me to kind of break this down because honestly, like I think a lot of people misunderstand this verse. Um, so today I want us to unpack it together. Okay, so what is poor in spirit? Because anything, we're hearing like poor, we might think negatively, but what does poor in spirit actually mean? When people hear poor in spirit, they sometimes think it means like weak, small, broken, but that's not how I see it anymore. I had like a heart to heart with God yesterday, and I really feel like I got a new revelation on it because to me, being poor in spirit means humility. It means recognizing I don't have to carry everything alone. I just don't have to. It's the opposite of pride, the opposite of constantly needing to control every single outcome. And let's be honest, a lot of anxiety comes from trying to hold everything together all the time, trying to predict everything, trying to force clarity, trying to mentally solve your entire future before next Tuesday. Like that was me so hard. Like I was always going so hard to just like figure out my entire future. Meanwhile, our nervous system is like, girl, can we sit down for a second? Like, and I think there's peace in admitting I don't know everything. And it's not from a place of hopelessness, but from a place of surrender. Okay. Let's just break this down in segments. Okay. So let's talk about how surrender is not weakness. I think people hear the word surrender and immediately think defeat. But spiritually, surrender is trust. If you are aligned with God, like really aligned with Him for real, it's releasing the pressure to constantly perform, prove, and control. Okay. And honestly, some people are exhausted not because life is impossible, but because they're trying to carry life in their own strength all the time. And that's heavy. So, no wonder why people feel emotionally drained these days. No wonder why people can't rest mentally. And that's really part of the reason why I created this podcast, Ain't Just for Nothing. Our hearts, guys, they were never meant to operate from constant pressure. And I think that That's why inner peace matters so much, because peace changes the condition of your heart. And so, if we really talk about and think about how your inner world shapes your outer world, the condition of your heart affects how you experience every single thing. So, two people can walk through the same situation, just for an example, and they can experience it completely different based on what's happening internally, what's happening in their world. Like, one person sees possibility, another sees fear. One feels grounded, another feels consumed. Your inner world matters. And I heard this a lot on a podcast I listened to, the Positive Mindset podcast. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably seen me share some of his, episodes before. Um, but it's crazy how two people can like go to a movie, and he would use an example like this, and it's like it just really made me really see the bigger picture. If one person comes out of that movie and they feel grounded and another feels consumed, and one person sees possibility and the other person sees fear, it depends on the state of what that person went in the movie theater with. Your inner world literally matters so much that you will perceive every single thing that you experience in life based off of what the inner, what's happening on the inner parts of you. And this is why protecting your peace is deeper. This is why it's deeper than like aesthetics and like bubble baths. So, because social media loves selling peace like it's just candles and soft music. And listen, hey guys, thank you for joining in. I love a candle too, guys. Listen, but real peace is internal. It's stability within yourself. It's being able to breathe deeply, even when life is still unfolding. Today, oh my God, we got so many people that are just trying to fake it. They're faking that they don't feel nothing. And it's been me, literally. That's why I had a heart to heart with God yesterday. Keep believing in God, and I pray for you that you will save each other and have a wonderful life. Thank you so much, Xavier, for that comment. Guys, I really, it's, I know that stability within yourself is different from what's going on in your outside world. It's being able to breathe. And it's like my life is unfolding, your life is unfolding. Give yourself some grace. Peace is connected to humility, guys. Here's something I've been realizing. Humility creates space for peace, because humble people are teachable. They are flexible. Okay, they're open. They don't feel like the need to control everything. And when you release the need to have all the answers. You literally create room for trust, room for stillness, room for emotional freedom. And that's powerful, guys, because a peaceful heart is not a heart that has figured everything out. It's a heart that no longer believes it has to. So stop carrying what was never yours. I think a lot of people are emotionally carrying things they were never meant to hold. Growing up, our childhood, there are things that we just accepted as parts of us that was never even anything we chose. It was everybody's expectations, everybody's opinions, everybody's timeline that sort of like got us out of alignment with self. And slowly that weight begins affecting your spirit. Your joy literally starts to fade. And so your mind races, your peace disappears. And if you listen to my last episode, I talked about how joy is literally your birthright. But peace returns to you when you stop gripping life so tightly, when you soften internally, when you stop treating every moment like it's an emergency. And honestly, I think some people need permission to exhale. Not because they're lazy, not because they're giving up, but because they're human. Okay? We're all human. We're all literally in this life for the first time, as far as what we can remember. I believe our spirit, our energy never dies. And I believe our spirit may go through multiple lives. I don't know. That's just my theory. But Peace changes how you move through life. Real peace. And when your heart is at peace, your heart, okay? Not necessarily your mind, but when your heart is at peace, life feels different. You think clearer. You react less emotionally. You stop rushing. Guys, I've slowed down so much over the years. I used to be so pushed to be rushed to just, I used to be so pressured in that. But then I stopped panicking every time something felt like uncertain. And it wasn't because like life suddenly became perfect for me. You know, I've even been accused of like, you're not really that happy. Baby, it's a moment by moment thing for me. But because your inner world can become steadier, when you stop panicking, when you start rushing, when you start to grow the trust within yourself, when you do what you say you're going to do, that's real growth. Not just becoming successful, not just becoming disciplined, but becoming eternally grounded, internally grounded. And I think that's one of the most beautiful forms of strength, okay? And in closing, if you guys take anything from today, just let it be this. Peace is not sending something you find by controlling everything around you. Peace is not something that you literally can like tangibly find by controlling everything and everyone around you. Peace begins within you. It's a perspective, it's a mindset. And it's within your heart. It's within your spirit, within your perspective. And maybe Matthew 5:3 was never about weakness. Just because it says poor in spirit, sometimes we got to break things down. We got to break down words. Maybe it was about the freedom that comes from humility, the freedom that comes from surrendering and being like, this is actually hard, you know? But then at the same time, trusting that you don't have to carry everything alone. Your heart is powerful, so protect it, nurture it, lead it gently, okay? Everything will work out for you, my friends, because your hearts truly is the gateway to peace. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this episode spoke to you guys, share with someone who needs it. This reminder is very important for myself to take a breath, release the pressure to have everything figured out, and allow yourself to experience peace from within. And I'll talk to you guys on my next episode. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Bye.